You have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name, amen. So the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. Anyone in the audience would like to address this? I'll get to you in a minute, okay, Tom? While you're here. No, I know, they're here for something else.
Okay, just a couple things. As most of you know, the Champlain area, including the town of Champlain, village of Champlain, Rouse's Point, and the whole region celebrated the quadricentennial last year, and our local chairman was Chris Trombley. And at their meeting on Sunday, the Woodmen of the World decided that Chris would be the Citizen of the Year, and there'll be a banquet on March 5th. That's a Friday at the Peck's Place there at Rainbow in Altona. So if any of you are interested in attending, March 5th.
Saturday?
I think it's Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that one sounds good to me.
Okay. And just, I wanted to stop in and see him. I didn't get a chance to today. I want to see Dave Gay. What's the process? I heard, not from him, but from somebody else, that there were some delays in getting him set up in his new location after the fire. I mean, he had to go through some zoning regulations or something. And
I'll have Mickey address that in a second. I don't believe that to be true because that was a prior use building.
yeah, that's what amazed me.
It was, well, at first I didn't think so, but after, Mickey can explain that in a second. There was another gentleman in there which was approved for automobile repair. Go ahead, Mickey.
Yeah, they called me initially, told me the zoning process would have been, but I didn't realize at the time that John Lucia was in there, cars
Well,
repaired.
up to about a year and a half ago or so, yeah.
Right, well, it's less than a year. So by that being a pre-approved station, that's all that the motor vehicle department requires is basically a number from a motor vehicle station. So he's gonna send them a letter, he's all set to go.
Okay.
I mean, he's gonna fall in under the same approval that Mr. Gay did when the zoning board looked at his application.
That's what I'm talking about. David Gay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pre-approved, he can only do what Mr. Gay was doing there, which is. Yeah, I got mixed up there. Yeah.
Okay, because that's been a garage since its existence. I mean, that's what it was built for. That's what it's always been.
Right,
so-
but if a use lapses for longer than a year, then they have to reapply, which would have been the case had Mr. Lucia not been in there. But he was there, so basically, he's grandfathered in under his application.
It just doesn't, after years, isn't it zoned for that type of stuff? to begin
It's
with?
zoned, but if the use ceases for longer than a year, then they have to reapply. I mean, that's the way the zoning law works, that's not my law. That's
No,
the
it's
zoning
not your law. I just don't. Just boggles my mind that something that's been there built to be a garage, you gotta go through all kinds of.
That's
the paperwork
I've
that-
been a vacant building for 5 years or something.
Well, that'd be kind of different. But I mean, it's been in use right along. It just,
I see no problem with this.
Yeah. Okay.
No, he's all set.
Yeah, okay, like I said, I wanted to see him and I didn't, I just heard this secondhand and I just, that's all I got.
Okay, Harry, you have any
Just a couple of things.
words of wisdom for us?
I wish I did. I just wanted you to know, and I think we had talked about this the last time, I did meet with the two villages and the Homeland Security people relative to potential fencing and also potential closed-circuit television security systems, and I think that's going to go somewhere. I think we're going to have some funding for that. So I'll let you know, the two villages are obviously inside the township, so I thought you'd be interested in that. Election day training, are you guys going to continue to contract with Moores for your election inspectors, or are you going to try and train people, or?
Am I correct, with these new machines coming out,
Yes.
we probably don't need our own, the county will do it? You know?
Well, they could, but they also, you can have local control. I mean, if you have people that want it, that's what I'm talking, this summer they're going to train them. So you may not, I don't
That
know.
was part of our problem in the past.
You couldn't get volunteers.
I believe both of them, the Republican and the Democrat, what do you call, inspectors,
Yes,
both had to.
yeah.
It was just hard to pick up somebody to do it.
Well, if you want to contact the Republican and Democratic town chairman and ask them if they have anybody, certainly something, that the training will be this summer, it's a half a day, and the county will put it on. So you could have local inspectors, or you may have to, I mean, they're brand new machines, as you know, so the training is, it's not gonna be like it was before, but in theory, they're easier to use. That's all I can tell you. I have not used one yet, so I don't know. All right?
Probably the only thing I could say is that if anybody's interested in being an election inspector,
Okay.
contact their party chairmen.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
All right, the last time I was here, we did talk a little bit about the county budget, but we finalized those figures for the town of Champlain, and it went down from 595 to 546, and I don't know that we can certainly guarantee that's gonna happen in the next year, when you all know that the budget year is gonna be almost impossible with the state of New York and the position it's in, but in any event, I'm very proud of the fact it was a cooperative effort on the part of the legislature. You may have noticed in the paper, we did decide to change air carriers, so we're now going with the Kogan Air. That's a larger passenger vehicle, 35 to 40 from the 8-passenger. It also has indoor plumbing. It has you can actually sit and talk to the pilot as you fly to Boston. There's actually a separation there, and it also has flight attendants. So we felt that it was the way to go. It was not a unanimous decision. It was 6-4, the first 6-4 vote that I participated in, but I think it is the future. We've heard from many people who said that they would not fly on the smaller planes, and for those of us, myself included, who have ear issues on flying, those are non-pressurized cabins, and these are. So we just felt it was the future for the airport there. They are not affiliated with JetBlue, but they are affiliated with US Air and Continental and United, and so you'll actually be able to book a flight out of Plattsburgh come the 1st of March to anywhere in the country, fly on a 35 to 40 passenger plane from Plattsburgh to Boston. And the other issue that I felt was something that's important was people flying into the area. We're looking for someone to replace Pfizer. We're looking for new doctors. We're looking for people coming into the area. I think it says something about an area when you fly in on an 8-passenger vehicle and are having sodas with the pilot versus actually flying in on an airplane. And so, I also think the Montreal market is 80% of our revenue down there, and they're going to heavily market in the Montreal area, and I think marketing a plane like that will be a lot better for the airport. We hope that revenues come up. One of the things you should be aware of is that it's worth $1 million. So whoever gets the essential air service, there's $1 million that's given to this air carrier. So that's why there was such heavy bidding for this, because for the next year or two, they're going to pick up an extra $1 million because we need an essential air carrier based upon the agreements they worked out with the federal government. The only other thing I have, we did meet on the computerization. I talked to Julie about that today, and I guess you guys are going to stay where you are, and I think after the meeting with Joe Giroux, that's probably the best thing that you can do. The coordinated materials between the county, town, and villages are going to happen anyway, but the new program that the county decided to go with does not work, and it's a minor humiliation, but it's something that it was bid and it was the low bid, and so we took it, but it just didn't work out. But I think, Julie, you're just as pleased. You like the people that you're working with now too, and so on. So it seems like the best thing. The only other thing I would mention to you, the county is developing a policy. You probably saw the memo relative to how elected officials, and I don't know whether anyone in here is in the retirement system, but you have to create a log in the first 6 months. Did you get that memo?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Is anyone in the retirement system here?
Well, I am.
Okay.
I've already done that previously.
Well, apparently you have to update it, I guess, or do it again. The county did it, and we'll have to, for those county officials that are elected in the current year, they're gonna have to do it again. The district attorney, for example, has done it before, so I just thought that we're developing a policy, but it's basically just logging your hours. It's not a big deal, so. And that's all I have. Again, if there's anything that you guys need or, call me, I'm available. I certainly would be happy to help out, okay? Thank you.
Will you be at the meeting tomorrow?
I will. You going?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get our update on Pfizer. I was encouraged, Larry, as I think you had heard that they're keeping the Chem Pilot building open for another 6 months in Rouse's Point, so that is good news. And it's not that, I think it's gonna continue, it's just that it gives us an extra 6 months to market the area with, something that's actually happening in Rouse's Point, as opposed to trying to market a vacant building, which I think is very hard to do, so,
Absolutely right.
okay. Thank you.
I'll introduce Tom Menderville now. Tom is going to be I'm going to appoint him this evening to be the town historian. I want him to bring us update a little bit of what's going to be happening this spring. Tom, would you go ahead and do that?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank you, Larry, for appointing me to the position. It's an honor and a privilege, and I'm excited about being the town historian because I'm a history professor, and history excites me, unlike many other people. And Larry asked me to give you all an update on the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Point Affair encampment that's going to take place June 4th through 6th this year. And we've had one committee meeting. Larry's on the committee, Dick's on the committee, as well as John Zerlo and others. Citizen of the Year, Chris Trombley and myself and some other interested individuals. And we're going to meet again this Friday, and things are happening fast. First, just a rundown on what's going to take place that weekend. We anticipate at least 150 reenactors, up to probably 200 reenactors will be encamped on the point. They're gonna, those of you familiar with the point, they're gonna camp across from Jim McCrae and Joe Heath's house in the field there. Then the battle reenactments, which will take place on Saturday, June 5th and Sunday, June 6th at 1, will take place in the fields next to the Rochester house, across the street from Rolla Parker's, and then across the street where we'll have the two opposing forces sort of meet in the middle, not on the road obviously, but that's where the battle reenactment will take place. And those will both take place on 1 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. Harry's working on a shuttle bus for us through CART, and tentatively our shuttle bus schedule will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And our vision is to have people park out at the end of Point Affair Road, out where the old trailer park was and so forth, that's been sold and cleared out. I don't know, probably John's talked to the owner of that. Then shuttle the people in, because it'll be a complete traffic mess if we don't do that. Shuttle them into the encampment where they can walk around the camp, visit with the reenactors. There'll be a French camp, a British camp, then view the reenactment, then hang around the rest of the afternoon, talk to the reenactors, ask questions, whatever they want to do. So we envision the public being there 10 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. Now, Thursday and Friday will be the days when the reenactors arrive, so there really won't be much opening, open to the public per se, because they have to set up their camps, and they're not always in their their uniforms and so forth when they're doing that, and real dedicated reenactors don't like to be seen out of uniform, and maybe half in uniform or whatever. So really the days for the public will be Saturday and Sunday, when they'll be up to snuff, so to speak. Now, I received an email today from Tom Prey, who is the quartermaster of this event, And so far we have, let's see here, 5 different units of French reenactors coming from Montreal, Saint Jean, the Buffalo area, throughout the state of New York, Crown Point. There's another group that's raised in Crown Point. We have 7 units of British Light Provincials, including some units of Rogers Rangers who accompanied the British and were the main force in this battle in 1760. We have 1 commitment from a group of Native Americans, a group of Mohawks from Fort Stanwix, which is over in Troy, has committed to come because there were Native forces at this battle. And so far we have 4 bateau or whaleboats that will also be there. And I believe they're going to moor their boats or dock their boats on the shore of Dr. Southwick's property, which is just down the street from McCrae's house. My wife's going to talk to Doc Southwick, and I'm sure he'll love to have some historic boats there. My wife's the Champlain Memorial Librarian, and she sees Doc all the time.
I don't see a problem.
We didn't think so, and you get a kick out of having some naval groups there also. So it's really shaping up fast. It looks like it's going to be quite an event, and I'll keep you updated as town historian, and our committee will continue to meet. And thank you.
I thank you. Welcome aboard. Anyone else? I need a motion to approve the minutes of December 29th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 29th.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions on the minutes of December 29th? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, I'm gonna make my yearly appointments for the year. Deputy Supervisor will be Richard Favreau. The Grants Committee will be John Paul Tatro, John Cooper, and Mike Tatro. The Water and Sewer Committee will be Steve Southwick and John Cooper, and Mike Tatro. Highway Committee will be John Cooper and John Paul Tatro. The Building Committee will be John Paul Tatro and Richard Favreau. Emergency Preparedness Committee will be John Cooper and Richard Favreau. Handicap Discrimination Committee will be John Paul Tatro and myself. Town Policy Committee will be myself and Richard Favreau. Zoning Liaison will be Steve Southwick. Planning Representative will be Richard Favreau. Landfill Committee, Stephen Southwick and John Paul Tatro. Zoning and Code Enforcement Officer will be Mike Tatro. Registrar of Vital Statistics will be Julie Castine. The Budget Officer will be myself, Larry Barkle. Harassment Officer will be Jane West and Timothy Parsons. Fixed Access Records, Record Records, will be Jane West. Youth Director will be Linda Fredette. The Cable Franchise Representative will be Richard Favreau, representing us. Dog Control Officer will be Joe Mott. The Fire District Liaison will be Steve Southwick. Safety Officers will be Tim Parsons and Mike Tatro. Board of Assessment Review, John Paul Tatro. Parks and Youth Programs will be Richard Favreau, John Paul Tatro, and Steve Southwick. Shared Services will be Steve Southwick and John Cooper, and Historian will be Tom Vanderbilt. Okay. I don't believe I have to have those approved, but if somebody wanted to make a motion to approve, I would accept that. For the record.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointments.
I'll second it.
Any questions on any of the appointments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to review and accept the town policies. We have a personnel, conflict of interest, code of ethics, sexual harassment, drug-free workplace, procurement, alcohol and drugs, safety and health, investment, disaster response, hazardous material response, and hazardous communication. If I could have a motion to accept those,
I make a
Town
motion,
policies?
we accept the town policies as listed and read.
I'll second that motion.
any questions on any of them? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we'll read a list of the salaries for the upcoming year, those that we have legally advertised. The supervisor's salary is $19,000. Town councilman is $6,150 each. Highway superintendent has two salaries, an elected position and a full-time working position. The elected position is $17,325. The full-time working position is $28,875. The town clerk tax collector is $22,950. The additional duties for the water and sewer for the town clerk is $3,105. The planning and zoning clerk, $86,06, $8,606. Two justices at $20,336.50 each. The marriage officer is $1,035. The youth director is $3,500. The Board of Assessment and Review is a total of $1,500. That is $300 each for the 5 members on the Board of Assessment and Review. Town clerk registrar is $1,000. They were just for information only. Well, they were advertised. I don't believe we have to approve this. We need to set the meeting night and day of the week and place. I am recommending that we keep Tuesday, the second Tuesday of the month, place here at the town board offices at 7 o'clock, same as it is now. If I could have a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion and we keep the regular meeting nights as they are currently.
A second?
Any questions on this one? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to designate the following banks as official depositories of town funds. We have 3 banks we can use, Champlain National Bank, Community Bank, and TD North Bank, Bank North. If I could have a motion to accept those 3 banks.
I make a motion, we accept the 3 banks as read and listed.
Second that motion.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to designate the official town newspaper as being the Plattsburgh Press Republican.
I make a motion, we designate the Press Republican as our official newspaper.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Designate the town attorney as William Favreau. He's the one we've been using for several years now. I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we appoint William Favreau as our existing attorney in town.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to designate the town attorney for zoning and planning. Is Tom Renane from the office of Stafford Owens, Curtins, and Trombley. And John Clute. We've used him on some cases where Tom Renane could not do it for us for conflict of interest reasons, but we have used John Clute only a couple times I can think of. Need a motion to approve both of those in the same.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Thomas Renine and Tom Clute as the zoning and planning board attorneys.
Thank you.
Second that motion.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to set the mileage rate for 2010. It says 2009 there. The IRS rate is 55 cents per mile. That's what it has been here in the past year. I'd like to have a motion to continue that.
I'll make a motion that we set the mileage rate at 55 cents per mile for the calendar year 2010.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to approve donations to local veterans organization. Upon submission of a voucher, we have traditionally given each of 4 organizations, the Veterans and the American Legion, Veteran of Foreign Wars in the American Legion, $100 each per year.
I make a motion that we donate $100 each to 4 veterans organizations upon submission of the voucher.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to authorize payment in advance of audit claims for public utility services, postage, freight, express charges, and all payroll-related deductions. Meaning we pay those before town board meetings.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need to designate a delegate and an alternate to the Association of Towns held in February. Voting member of the board. The only one that we have going from our board is John Cooper. So if I could have a motion to approve John as our voting delegate.
I'll make a motion that we appoint John Cooper as our representative for the Association of Towns meeting in February.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I need a motion to pay for registration, bus fare, hotel, and designated dollar amount given to each official attending the association town meeting. The dollar amount in the past year was $300. I would appreciate a motion to that effect, keep the amount of money the same.
I make a motion that we give each attending member to the Association of Towns meeting $300 in advance.
And registration, bus fare, and hotel, all that.
Yeah.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We have a financial resolution as follows. In lieu of filing the town's financial report by the supervisor for the state audit and control, he is authorized to instead file a copy of his annual report given to the state controller's office within 60 days of the close of the financial year. And further, he forward a copy and proof of publication of said report in the official town newspaper when filing with said audit and control.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We need a post-audit resolution authorizing the payment in advance of auditing claims for public utilities, postage, freight, and express charges. All such claims shall be presented to the next regular meeting for audit. And the claimant and the officer occurring or approving the same shall be jointly and severally liable for any amount disallowed by the board.
I make a motion that we pass the post-audit resolution as read.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, John. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Okay, we have a letter from the village of Rouse's Point, pertaining to, pardon? Stony Point Road. The Breakwater Road, Stony Point Road, pertaining to debris left on that road, accumulation of debris. I have asked our code enforcement officer to take a look at it with a camera, and I've asked the highway superintendent to also take a look at it. We will be keeping a diligent eye on that situation. Other than that, I can't say much. This time of year, things are covered up quickly with snow, and the snow plows push stuff aside, but we will be taking a close look at that during the year. You've got your schedule for real property service agency on the schedule that they're here every Monday. On Monday, they do mostly field work, sometimes they're in the office, but every Friday, they're in the office. Probably just a reminder for people to sign up for the Enhanced Star Program, for those that qualify age 65 and over. They have by the end of February, so they got this month and next month to do that. So Fridays will be quite busy, I'm sure. But they're here every Friday. I need a motion to approve, I have a letter from Jay Bouvier. I would like to express an interest in working in the town planning or zoning boards. I have worked on the Champlain, Village of Champlain Planning Board in the past and have found it very interesting. A letter from Jay. We have an opening at this time as an alternate on the zoning board. I have mentioned that to him and he's very agreeable to that.
Jay would make an excellent candidate for either zoning or planning. Yeah, I worked with him on the planning board in the Village of Champlain, he's very knowledgeable.
Yep.
We're lucky to have him interested in it, so.
Okay,
We need a.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
that's a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank you. And I concur with you, he's a very fine fellow. I'm sure he will do us a great job. We are lucky to have people step forward.
Yes.
Different times, we're always looking for alternates to get on those boards, zoning and planning board. I have a motion and a second. Is there any questions on this one? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Will you send a letter off to him, Julie?
Yes.
You have your dog complaint log for the month. Okay, that's for information on that. We got a letter from New England Waste Services pertaining to the Champlain landfill closure. It's the 2009 fourth quarter annual review and environmental monitoring report. They still monitor the landfill up here on the Ridge Road. Some tests are done once a year, some are twice a year. Very well taken care of. All we have to do is pay the bill. They do all the monitoring for us. We have a letter from Time Warner Cable pertaining to increase in rates that are starting February 1st. Different rates for different services. Did you read that over, Steve?
Yeah.
Did you? Steve doesn't want to comment on it probably, but.
I'm gonna abstain from that, thank you.
Obviously, nothing's going down, everything's going up a little bit, so
Yep.
some of those services are reasonable and some are certainly, seem high to me, but they are what they are, you know. That's for your information only. We have a letter from the Adirondack Tobacco Free Network. It's a partnership to reduce adolescent and adult tobacco use in Clinton County. Just for your information. Anything we can do to help there. Maybe Alan can help me on this one. Alan, this undertaking resolution, do you understand that one with the permits for the,
The state,
yes?
well, every year they have it, they call it perm 17, so this year they changed it to perm 32. It's just given the town, whenever we gotta go work for the state, which is not that often, that we're covered.
Okay,
You know, we got insurance, we're covered, you know, it's like that every year. Just that they changed the wording around, it's the same thing, it's just they changed things around a little bit. We haven't worked for the state in the last 3 years, but you never know, you know, they could call us on a flood or something.
okay. This is an undertaking resolution authorized undertaking in connection with permits issued by New York State Department of Transportation, Highway Department, okay? Does anybody want this read in full? I don't know if it's necessary. It's something that we do need to approve. Like Alan said, once in a while we do coordinate work with the state, we do it with the county too, but I do the motion to pass this undertaking resolution.
Make a motion, we pass the resolution, the undertaking resolution.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay. I was remiss, I should have introduced John Cooper in the beginning of the meeting. He is our new town councilman. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You'll be putting up with us for 4 years.
Well, you'll be putting up with me, one or the other.
Anyways, welcome aboard. I'm sorry I didn't introduce you at the beginning of the meeting.
Well,
You're here, you're pretty well known on the, he was on the village board before he got here, and he came with some experience anyway, so we're glad to have you aboard. The other letter, the last letter, we'll address it in executive session. Superintendent of Highway, Alan, you have anything to
No, not really. Just recently, all we gotta do is keep up the trucks and a few snow drifts the last couple of days, but other than that, that's all we've been doing.
We had the one major storm here over New Year's weekend, 3 or 4 days, the wind never did stop blowing. We only got 7 to 8 inches of snow, but we had a lot of wind.
How's your new heating system working out there?
Good. Real good.
Yeah, the heating system that we approved in November, December, there's all, it's in, installed, working. The building committee, John, Paul, and Richard, I assume you want just
Just
the new heating system.
The new heating system's the only thing that's all right.
I know nothing on the other committees as far as the highway committee and stuff. We're doing well. Water sewer committees.
We got that pump going today at the sewer plant.
Do log road.
Yeah, the only thing we got left to do is the float. I gotta make a few phone calls tomorrow to find the right float to go into that. Because when we got there, it's a little tough shape, but other than that, it's working.
Good. Excellent.
Yep. It's been
That
about
was a
5,
long,
6 months.
that was a
now.
long time coming.
Yeah, been a long time.
More, at least 6 months.
I think it was, yeah, late spring, early summer we started on that, yeah.
So we wouldn't be in the cold.
Power might even be less than 3 days.
Remember that?
On the sewer committee there, we're gonna, as soon as the weather breaks a little bit, we're gonna have to take that steel plate off over by the board review. We gotta get, looking down and check those meters to see what they are, so we can order fresh ones, to bring that system up to date. We just had to wait a little change in the weather to do something with it.
Yeah,
Also, we're gonna have to we'll have to get together with Steve and I have to get together, we're gonna have to get some kind of a deal where the town of Champlain actually has some equipment to work with as far as tapping water pipes and stuff like that. I think we'll get together and we'll talk it over, and we're gonna come back in front of the board with a little proposal to purchase some equipment to work with,
okay.
all right?
I think now we probably rely on the villages.
Wow, we've been relying on Rouse's Point and using all their equipment. Sometimes the day we need it, they need it, you know. But
Okay,
I agree.
and we'll take a close look at that, because it's gonna be a needed service in the future more and more than ever.
Well, we're gonna have to bring this system up to date, we got a violation here in a couple places, but we wanna get things up to date, so, we have till March on that letter that we received, that back flushing valve and that stuff there, we're gonna have to do something with that. And
Yes.
that can't, we just can't put that under the table, we gotta look at it right up front.
I've asked Mickey to send that on to the town attorney,
We're working on that part,
okay. Get that,
because we're getting the wording in the letter right, you know, he's contacted the lawyer on that, and they're gonna send us back another draft of that letter, because the one we have, if we delete the parts that say something else in it to make it work for us, the lawyer's gonna do it up different for us and get it back up as soon as he can.
okay. Well, they had originally given us to February 15th, and I asked for another month, really. They gladly gave that to us, we need to keep that up, and work on that, okay? I know nothing on the landfill committee. Julie, town clerk, do you have anything to?
Yep, I have a few things. At this time, I'd like to appoint Jane West as my deputy town clerk, tax collector, and register of vital statistics. The town board needs to appoint Janice Letourneau as marriage officer.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we appoint Janice Letourneau as marriage officer.
thank you. That's something she's been for several years now. Any questions on this? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the other one is to appoint Jane? Or you?
No, I appointed her.
Okay,
You guys just set her salary.
okay.
I do the appointment, you set the salary. The planning board, at the last planning board meeting, the board recommended Carl Schenk as chairperson and Robert Musselholm as vice chairperson. And now this board has to approve or disapprove those recommendations.
Is that a yearly thing, or?
Yes, every year.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion then to appoint Carl as chairman and Rob Wilson-Holm as vice chair.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried?
Okay, and back in August, the board made a resolution to close some roads down on Kings Bay campsite. I don't know if you guys recall those roads.
we did, but it was worded wrong.
Yeah, I got a call from Kelly Donahue, and you guys made the motion to close the following roads, but it needs to be rescinded to say that, to remove the roads as private right-of-ways in the town of Champlain due to the closure of Kings Bay campsite. Which is
Emergency,
Kelly Donahue.
and County Down Emergency Services. Okay,
I'll make a motion to that effect.
thank you. Need a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried?
That's all I have.
That's all you have?
Are we all set on the meeting nights for both planning and zoning as far as putting that in the paper?
The planning board, I put that in the paper, I think it was in there today.
Okay.
Zoning board won't go in until we meet, which is the 21st.
Okay.
So once we meet on the 21st, they'll set the dates, and then I've already got it ready to go.
Okay.
Just have to fax it.
Okay, you can review the post audit bills and we need approval of the monthly bills.
I've got two to read. Morrisonville Septic, for $375. And the Cook County Treasurer, for the general election, there's another fee for $71.73.
Okay, there were two additions to the one you got on your desk tonight when you came in. Any motion to approve the bills?
I make a motion we approve the bills, including the two additional ones that town clerk just read.
Thank you. I need a second. Second. Thank you, Dan. Any questions on the bills? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Does anybody else have anything for the board before I go into executive session? If not, I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss contracts.
I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss contracts.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.